Like the SpongeBob thing. Are you ready, kids?
All right. 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Striking Kicks podcast. It's Chayton here with...
Kenzi.
You have to speak up louder than that, whisper guy.
Kenzi.
This guy. Are you ready for, this is episode 6 now? 7?
Yeah.
6?
6.
Of the Striking Kicks podcast. Mm-hmm. We're joined by young Jeff Gordon, Chase Elliott.
And
with us today.
Stanley.
Oh, God. We're not sponsored by Stanley. Don't feature them in this.
We love the Stanley.
You love Stanleys. I don't love the space they take up in the cabinets back here. What's on our agenda today?
We've got a few things.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that's not really on the list, but we did want to mention is that we're going to be more routine.
Yes.
So we're going to record Tuesday nights and post, or what is the word? Upload on Wednesday mornings. So you guys can plan on that every week. But other than that, we are going to the Utah State Open Championship this weekend.
Team singles and doubles, yeah.
So we'll be bowling Saturday and Sunday. We have the CB Tour details. We'll go into like memberships and points a little bit more. How to make bowling entertaining.
Nice little segment.
And what does that bowling term mean? Again, we have 3 more terms.
Yeah.
Shane's going to explain to all of us noobs.
Many terms. And, So, I guess we start with the Utah State Open Championships at Davis Lane. This is my first Utah State tournament. It's Kenzi's first tournament.
Yep.
How do we feel?
I'm very nervous. I'm bowling with good people, and I'm not good at all. So that's stressful.
Well, we're hoping that your handicap takes us to the promised land.
We're going to hope.
It should. I believe Gene said your average is 99.
Yeah.
That's a lot of handicap.
Yeah. Which I did. I don't know if we've talked about this yet, but I did get most improved.
You did.
Average.
Yeah, we haven't talked about it. You
league.
did get most improved average on a league.
All of Team Championship Bowling of our league got something. We all got something.
I think everybody got something.
I don't think so. There's so many people. I don't think. There's no way.
Yeah. What did I get? I was suckiest bowler. Oh, high handicap. Yeah, my 880 or whatever. I shot 850. Yeah, no, we're going in. Utah State Open Championships. Me, you, Gene Moose, Adam Wagner, and Hall of Famer Rob Lund.
Yeah.
Bowling with a Hall of Famer.
I know. That's the thing. I'm bowling with all these good people, and then there's me.
Well, every team needs some handicap. And we're providing
I'm glad
some
I can
handicap.
provide.
Yeah, well, both of us are providing the handicap. So you just need, I think if you shoot like 450, 500, we're going to be hard to beat.
Okay. We got to get there first.
Yeah, I think that's manageable. We're going to practice a couple days, Thursday, Friday this week.
Yeah.
Get prepared for throwing better shots. I don't know.
And hopefully don't get angry.
That, you usually like...
I feel like because I'm bowling with, like, I bowled with you, but I bowled with you and my mom. So those are people I can get angry around. Like, I don't feel like I could get angry with, like, Gene and Rob and Adam.
Well, hopefully. Like, when you're not angry, you shoot like 120, 130. Like, automatic 120, 130. It's not until you get angry. Like, you even in games that you do, like, 3-dash or something stupid like that, but you don't get angry, you still end up shooting like 120. Yeah. But the games that you do that and then you quit and get mad, that's when we shoot 90 now. Yeah. So, we can keep our head on straight, hit the head pin. I think we got a good shot at make a little bit of dough.
Hopefully.
Yeah. If I could shoot 700, we're going to be in real good position with my handicap. I think I'm going in with like a 190 average. So, my goal is 700. I need to shoot a 700 in the whole thing. I got 3 sets, 9 games. You're gonna bowl 9 games, 6 games on Sunday, 3 games on 6 games on Saturday, 3 games on Sunday. So this is the first time the old 6 gamer.
I know.
How do you feel about that?
Well, there's like breaks in between, so I feel like it's fine.
Valid.
We bowl at 8:30 and then frickin'.
When we go to Reno, though, it is back-to-back. 6 games back-to-back.
Yeah. We're going to see how she goes.
At the National Bowling Stadium.
Yep.
Okay, well, Open Championships, Team CB, Championship Bowling. Going to run some things. I really hope. We're bowling the same squad that Chad is with Steve, Marcia, Kendall, and Dylan. So I hope so bad that we get to bowl with them.
I don't. They stress me
out.
out.
I hope so bad that we get to bowl with them. I am going to take a 360 pad and hammer that on my pitch black. Blow the front part of the lane up. Make a bunch of carry down. And we're gonna storm on through.
I feel like I'll be too stressed.
It won't make a difference to you. That's the thing. Rob's a lefty. Gene and Adam kind of have this weird voodoo roll where like it almost helps them because it creates a bunch of push in the middle of the lane. It's guys like Kendall and Steve, Dylan. Ooh. I play defense.
Dylan shot 300 on you.
Yeah, I know.
So
but, hey, I beat him.
It didn't affect him that bad.
Well, but he beat him the first game. Well, a lot of other things forget the first game where he shot front nine at me, and I went open spare. I chopped the 3-6, chopped the 3-6, picked the 3-6-9-10 sheet to shoot 269, beat Dylan by 4 because he split in the 10th off front 9, and won the team point. And then I didn't do anything after that. I shot 599 with the 269. That's riff. I told you and Chaz, like it's like that song where I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
As I'll ever be.
I think it's maybe it's 2 different lyrics. I don't know. Anyway, is that Toby Keith? I think it's Toby Keith.
I think so.
Yeah. I'm as good once as I ever was. I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
As I'll ever be.
No.
Yeah, I'm looking up these lyrics.
You look it up.
Okay.
You look it up.
Keep talking.
Next segment. We'll move on to the next segment, which is the memberships, right, for the CB Tour?
Well, yeah, like just kind of a more detail about it.
Yeah. So we wanted to clear up a few things for the CB Tour. Memberships are one of those things that we wanted to clear up. What is it? Was that right?
Yeah.
Look at the camera. Yeah.
Why did I think it was not that?
Let's hear you say it.
What?
Because Chad said it the other way too.
Yeah. But it sounds better the other way.
No, it doesn't. Listen to
I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
Yeah. Because it makes sense that way. Not ever be. I'm as good once as I ever was. So if you were consistently good now because you're old and suck, but you can still pull it out one time. You're not as good as you once were. But if it comes down to one match, one thing, you'll be as good once as you ever were.
I think Toby needs to rewrite the song.
No, he doesn't. He knew what he was doing. Yeah, membership. So one thing I just want to clear the air. You don't have to be a member to bowl an event. You don't have to be a member to bowl event. Now you get perks, like with the elite membership, which Kurt Zabriskie, member number 1,
and
Joe Lapon. Huh?
It's Lapon? I thought it was Lippin.
I don't know. Kendall said Lapon. Maybe it's Lippin. Sorry, Joe.
Well, Joe.
Might be. Joe, member number 2.
Yep.
Member number 2. Shout out to those guys. They are both elite members, and that gets you $10 off every entry. So you bowl all the events, basically pays for itself. Mm-hmm. And we're about transparency here, and that money is coming out of the expense money. So each tournament's about $50 in expenses that we collect from lineage to the equipment we have to buy for like banners and stuff, and a little bit of our cut and the points money, all those kinds of things. About $50 per tournament that is in expenses. So that $10, instead of us taking that $10 out of the 50, which we normally would do for equipment or for our time or whatever, that we're not taking that for people that bought memberships. It's almost like a prepayment, I guess, of your expense money. I don't know if you want to look at it that way. It's just a way to look at it. But just to be transparent, it's not coming out of the prize fund, this $10.
Yeah.
The prize funds will always stay the same when you get in. But yeah, just wanted to clear the air. Some people have asked me, tell me about this membership. You don't need to be a member. What the membership does, though, is get you in the points, right? We're estimating between $6,000 and $8,000 end of season bonus, total prize fund, with $2,000 going to the winner, okay? Plus the championship ring, which is going to be pretty cool. But if you want to be a part of that pool, you have to be a member, whether that's the basic membership at $25 or the elite member at $50. If you're not, I think we said this in the last podcast. So if we're giving you until the Cashers round, you have to be a member at Cashers round to earn your points for that event. If you don't buy your membership before Cashers round, which preferably you do it when you enter, that was the first one, but I want to give some people leeway. Maybe they forget, maybe the tournament staff doesn't remind you, I don't know. Whatever it is, you have until Cashers round, and I'll make this announcement to everybody. If you want into the points, you have to be a member before the Cashers round begins. We'll cut sales for the memberships once that starts. So, this guy always making...
I'm trying to make it not make noises.
Making a ruckus over here.
Right.
So that's memberships. I want to go a little bit, touch on the points system. Our point system I built to be competitive, but reward people that win. I don't necessarily want people that make just cash, 40th place or whatever, make it to the Cashers round, but because they bowled every event, they win the points championship. You still maybe have a good shot of cashing potentially in the points championship, but that doesn't necessarily show who the best bowler is. So there's a heavier weight. It's skewed for those who win. So if you win a tournament, it's 1,000 points. Second place, 800 points. Third place, 700. Fourth place, 600 points. And then it's 650 and it goes down by 50, then 25, and then 10, I think, something like that. It's all on the website that you can see. But it is skewed towards people who win. Now, the CB Masters, 500 extra points across the board. Everybody receives 500 extra points. So if you win the CB Masters, instead of 1,000, it's 1,500. Instead of 800, it's 1,300, so on down the line. Also, we have bonus points. You shoot 300 bonus points. You get, what is it, 10, 100? No, it's 50 and 100, I think. Right?
4.
Bonus points. I think it's 1,500. It's 50 for a 300, and it's 100 bonus points to the highest qualifying. Whoever leads qualifying.
And that's in every tournament.
Every event. Yep, every event. Now multiple bowlers can hit the 300 pot, the 300 bonus points, but you can't hit it multiple times. I almost thought about it, but I don't know. One time deal. So that's kind of the point system. Check it out if you haven't already. It's pretty interesting. Again, weighted towards those who win. But if you have some solid finishes, if you bowl all the events and you top 20, I think you have a real good shot of making some money in the end of season points. But it is skewed for those who win, and I'm really hoping it's a tight race when we go to the Tour Championship, which sounds like hopefully here soon we'll have some details on.
Yep.
So
very soon.
That is the Points Championship. All right, so that was memberships, Kens. So what's next on the plate?
How to make bowling more entertaining.
How to make bowling more entertaining. Okay, so the plan with this segment is for Kenzie and I to come up with to two things that can make bowling entertaining. Because I would say that in a lot of cases, we think that sometimes the bowling on TV is a little boring compared to other sports. And our business is to sell entertainment, basically. So, two ideas from each of us. Kenzie will start to make bowling entertaining.
You can't judge me.
There's no judging here.
On my answers.
Okay.
Okay.
Number one.
Don't look. I'm going to peek.
Okay.
So, my first one is people need to stop getting so mad.
Says you!
No, I'm not saying the bowler. Saying people watching need to stop getting so mad when someone shows emotion. Mm-hmm. Because if you go to our pages, the most cool videos and pictures are of people that are showing emotion.
Yeah. Basically, the only ones that we even use anymore, unless
Yeah.
it's like some cool pin action or split,
Yeah.
is ones, someone slapping it out or.
And that's entertaining.
Yeah.
That's like people want to watch that on stream.
Yeah, they do. They do. It makes the call
there's
better.
some people that don't, and those are the people I'm talking to.
Well, I'm baseball traditionalist. Don't like the bat tossing.
I know, and it's stupid. Like, how is that affecting you in your day-to-day life? Why does it matter so much?
Yeah, you have to. Like my college coach hated it, but like he hates all the egos of the MLB guys and stuff, right? But you have to understand at a level that the players and everybody involved at the major league level is dependent on people watching the game.
Exactly. They're literally putting on a show for you.
The only thing that matters is how entertaining the show is. Because if people quit watching, then no one gets paid. And it ceases to exist. So, yeah, I mean, at the college level, it's funded by the colleges and stuff. But, like, I guess at the JUCO level is where I was at. It's funded by all the colleges and fundraising and stuff. So I guess, it's a little different perspective. But at the high levels of, like, D1 baseball and MLB, it's all about asses and seats. Mm-hmm. And it's entertaining. I don't know. No one, maybe back in the day, like even if you watch something back in the day, like homie shot a 300 and falling on the ground and is super excited or something. Marshall Holm was kicking ball returns and stuff. Like, I don't know, man. Like, you just have to understand that it's all about the entertainment. You know what I mean? If we want people to be engaged or talk about the game, then there's got to be something to talk about.
And what a few weeks ago is when it was really going around, but what was going around all over about bowling?
What?
When homie
got...
Pete? Yeah.
The 1 year anniversary of the Who Do You Think You Are, I Am.
Yeah. Like, that's so memorable because of his reaction.
Bowling's most iconic moment.
Literally.
I would say, like, not just because that's the only one I remember. I'm sure there's some people that will beg to differ, and I'm sure there's some argument, but I think the bowling's most memorable because ESPN isn't showing other clips, right? The only real bowling clip that they show is Who Do You Think You Are, I Am. And yeah, exactly. I think so. I almost want to pay people like a bonus, like a PIP, like the PGA Tour does, but like people showing some sort of emotion. It's just more exciting. I
feel like Riley would win that award.
Riley does like to show off.
He does. It's a good time. Makes good content.
This leads into my point. Okay.
Okay.
Part of the issue with the show is the pacing. I think emotion helps with the pacing. When no one's showing emotion or like the game's low scoring,
it's boring.
It is awful to watch. It is bad. Stepladders can be somewhat entertaining. If people are striking, the pace is quick, and they're showing emotion. There was a couple matches. Out of the 17 on the Players' Championship, there was like 2 good, entertaining matches. Other than that, God, they're boring. They take so long. There's no action. There's no story. It's this guy messes up. This guy messes up worse. This guy messed up even worse than that. So the guy wins. Like, it's just, it's hard to muscle through, man. If we're struggling to muscle through it, just think of someone who flipped to this, a first-time viewer, and it's just dead silence. We're talking about nonsense, and no one's excited that they're even on the show. Mm-hmm. So the emotion, I think, helps sometimes with the pacing pick up, but the pacing in general is way too damn slow. It just takes so long between shots. There's dead silence. Like golf is slow, right? The advantage that golf has is besides like the 18th hole of the final group, there's other people on the course playing at the same time. So homie hits a shot. Oh, it's good. Cut to the next person that's on hole 15. Mm-hmm. And we can watch their shot. Right. So like there's not we're not just watching them walk over to the ball and it's just silence. Like we're calling some sort of action and stuff like that. So the pacing's bad. I think a little bit of that can be helped with the show. Whoever's calling it, like having more people call it, having more stories to talk about. I think that may be like a quarter of it, and the rest of it is just the format that's chosen. We've chosen to go kind of a different route. We do brackets. We don't do step ladders. We do brackets. Obviously, one of the greatest spectacles in sports is the March Madness, right? Basketball. Just because anything can happen, and we like that factor. So I think the bracket helps with pacing. Rarely do we have one match going on, and we're going to make sure that's the case. In our finals is the third, fourth place game will take place at the same time, the pair next to the first, second place game. And that's to help with pacing. My hope is that there's a cadence happening. Once this guy throws a shot, then this guy can throw a shot, and then we're just moving back and forth a little quicker. I feel like when they were separated, like they didn't affect each other who was going, and it just took a long time. So I want them next to each other, third, fourth place game, 1-2 place game, we're going. There's shots constantly. Is my hope. Make it quick. So pacing, I think we need to speed it up.
Okay, emotion, pacing. Do you want to do your next one?
Nope, you.
I feel like this one's going to be lame. People are going to judge me. But anyways, I think that, so in all sports, you always have a favorite. So I think you should pick a favorite, whether it's a professional or an amateur, or whoever. Because then you can follow along. It's more entertaining for you as a viewer if you're watching to see how Gio does, or Andy Kinney, or Daria, whoever's in the tournament. You have a favorite you're wanting to watch, and you're continuously learning more about like their game or how they're doing. Them on social media, they post all the time, most of them. So, I don't know. It's just more engaging for you, I guess.
It's a good point. It's valid. NASCAR. My man Jeff and Chase.
You have a favorite.
Yeah,
Baseball, you have a favorite. Football, you have a favorite. Yeah. Whether it's a team or an individual, bowling doesn't have teams, but like you can have a favorite individual bowler. I
think your point's good. I don't think it's a bad point. I think it's actually needed. I think the issue that people have a tough time picking favorites sometimes is because you get such a small view of the tournament, right? You don't, in the PBA level, unless you're a Bowl TV subscriber, right? You only get to see the top 5 or the top 17, right? This one time we got to. So,
but that's what I'm saying is if you're following along on like their social media and they're on tour, I feel like most of the people that are on tour that could be your favorite, they're posting about it. Excuse you. We'll see how many comments we get about that.
No, I think that's valid. Like, you just don't get to see it. Like, if you follow, like, if Gio misses the cut, you then ever get to see them.
No.
Right? A majority of the people that are PBA fans, like, if, let's say...
You're not always going to get to watch your favorite player or team in a championship game or anything like that.
Right, exactly.
So what do?
Exactly.
You follow them on Instagram, watch them on YouTube, whatever you can do.
Yeah, but you don't get to watch them live, you know what I mean? What is happening? What just happened? What happened? Oh my gosh. This Colby sent in some horrendous messages on Instagram that just made Kenzie die. What did he say? Colby said, SportsCenter can lick his hairy nuts for posting this, with a swear word in the middle of that.
For posting what?
It was that video of Diana. Oh, but a different one. Like, she threw a grenade behind her. I don't know.
Oh. I didn't see that.
So, valid point, I think. That's the thing. With NASCAR, you see all your drivers, right? There's at some point you can watch your driver, right? Golf, you can follow along with your player. The 300,000 people, whatever the viewership, the ratings are. I think they had 1 million on the first tournament. It's just not really been very good after that. Those people can only see the people that made the show. They never get exposed. Like we said, I think a good conservative number is about 5,000 people subscribe to Bowl TV. Maybe I'm wildly off and they make way more money than we think. But if that is the case, very few people then get to actually follow along with their bowler. Because, I mean, one clip isn't enough, I feel like, to form like a really, like, oh, I like this guy. You know what I mean? You don't get to see them, how they react under pressure or something, where they just missed the cut. So.
But for the people that are like, I guess, kind of in our area, we have quite a few of the same people bowling the tournaments that we're covering or our own tournaments. And you can always find somebody there that a lot of times they make step ladders or whatever. Like we cover a lot of them.
Yeah, we try to. If someone, is a family member in the field and they get
even
in the
afterwards,
chat.
like posting reels and stuff afterwards.
Yeah. Yeah, so, and like you can connect with people. We try to tell stories about these people. We try to talk about them during the stream. We try to post about them or something. Well, I throw it kind of like that kid or something, and then you can come to the stream and watch them try to compete and stuff. But you just can't do that. The way bowling's set up, how we only have these made-for-TV events with a 5-person stepladder, you never get to see it.
Yeah.
So, one thing with our thing is it's free. You can watch. Everybody can watch it. There's no paywall behind it, and we stream, the whole tournament. So if there's someone in the field that either misses the cashers round cut, you still probably will be able to get to see them. Especially if you like to, you throw a dono down there. We'll make sure we get your guy on camera.
People seen.
But we try to make sure we have a pretty good distribution. Tell some stories in the chat we engage with. Tell some stories on social media with reels and stuff. So we try to create an engaging environment. So that happens sometimes. We'll be like, who do you got in this match, right? We'll run a poll in the chat when there's a match going on or something like that. Maybe we'll have the name of the person as the giveaway and you spam Josh link or some link in the chat. Something to that extent. We try to create stories to get people to connect and be relatable, I guess.
But even, I guess, like, even if you don't just have like an all-time favorite, but you are in the stream or watching PBA or on Bowl TV or whatever, just finding someone that you're like, oh, that person like throws it really well. Like being interested in them along the way. Like I feel like that's just like that's entertaining.
Yeah. I think it is. I think sometimes like if you say, oh, I don't like that guy, then everybody's like, why, you piece of shit, why don't you like him? Or like,
well, you don't have to say you don't like someone. You just say you like this person.
But then people like cook you for that too. Bowlers just like cooking each other.
It's because y'all rude.
Yeah. I know. Okay, what's my second one? That's a good point. Not a bad point. What's my second one? Didn't get this far. The first one. I guess we'll just go with the part of my pacing point. Is we're doing a bracket instead of just straight games of qualifying. Our kind of motto for the tour is less qualifying, more matches. I think we have a sufficient amount of games to figure out who deserves to be in the top 24 or 32, whatever it ends up being, whichever tournament it is. 7 games is kind of enough, in my opinion, I think, to determine if someone should be in. That's 5 games of qualifying and then 3 games. It's 8 games actually. It's 5 and 3. So it's 8 games total. 3 games in the cashers round to figure out who's going to be in the bracket. So qualifying's kind of boring. Unless there's like a game left and there's a bubble and stuff. A lot of times there's not a lot of emotion. It's all spread out. Who knows if they're on stream or not? You know what I mean? But the matches, straightforward. You got to win to move on. Very easy to follow. A lot of drama.
Well, and a lot of sports brackets, so it's a lot easier to follow along with that because baseball, basketball, all that.
Right. I mean, so a good point came up because I know Chris Barnes and I had a little bit of discussion on Twitter about so first place could take 16th, right? So if we have a top 24 bracket now, in our example, first place like in the 32 bracket, I guess would play 32nd, bowl 32nd. And then it's double elimination though, so they'd have to lose 2 matches in a row, which would be hard to do, I think, as a 1 seed. But in the top 24 bracket, where it's single elimination, the top 8 get a bye, right? So the lowest they could take is the 16th place. Which, yeah, that could happen, and that's cool.
No, 16th place bowler beat the first place bowler. That's legit.
A 24 seed wins their match against the 16 seed or whoever's the highest in the 9 seed. So 9 bowls 24, 24 wins, bowls the 1 seed wins again. That's pretty cool. Don't think it'll happen, but that's pretty cool.
But I think that's what makes it cool, is that doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
Like,
Exactly.
so then if it does happen, it's like, whoa, holy shit, that's legit.
We're hung up on like the one-off scenario here that the first place bowler could take 32nd place.
Yeah.
That's going to be a story. I tell you what. Like, and this is the thing I try to get across to people, is that it's not all about the competition. Like, we want the competition to be fair. We don't want a gimmick, or right. We don't want it to make it look silly. But it needs to be entertaining. Because, and if you look at all these major sports, the money is coming from outside because the product is entertaining. So if we don't make an entertaining product, no one watches, then there's no money. So we try to get our bowlers to see the bigger picture here, that, we've got to put out something that's entertaining. We got to have entertaining matches, head-to-head matches, where they're close. We don't love to see 160 versus 170. So that's kind of why we choose to use patterns. There's kind of a sweet spot of pattern where it's not super hard, but is definitely a challenge, and you end up with scores that maybe they don't go along the grinds of 160 to 170. So makes it more entertaining. Those matches get really boring, but the bracket style. Really just the head-to-head matches are just so much better than the long format, 20 games, 15 games, because they're bowling like 12 games of match play, which match play is cool and all, but man, it's a lot of games. So brackets, I think, is our way. We're trying to make it more entertaining. Mm-hmm. So what's next?
Just what do these bowling terms mean?
So these are terms you came up with that you're not sure what mean.
Well, not necessarily, but just for like a beginner bowler that may not know what they mean.
Okay.
So hooking a ball, what does that mean?
So it's really referring to the curve the ball makes going down the lane. So in order to hook the ball, right, we need to rotate the ball. So it's when your kind of hand comes around it, right? That we've talked about. A lot of feel you really want like the ball to come off your thumb first and then to kind of roll off your hand, which you do a good job of when you're on time. When you're on time, the ball comes off in the right order, and then it rotates, right? And it's rotating in a different direction. So if my rotation is this way, and the ball is rolling this way, right? It's rolling down the lane this way, but it's rotating this way. The hook is when it begins to change direction from going this way to this way. So if you could see it from like a top-down view of the lane, you could see a curvature. The ball would be on a straight line. There's two different like break points, essentially. One is when it stops moving right, and one is when it starts moving to the left. So that's technically hook. A lot of it really just kind of comes down to rotating the ball. You have a house ball, not going to hook as much, regardless of how much rotation. So rotation, hook, not necessarily 100% the same thing. You have to rotate the ball really to see hook, but you need to have a ball like you do in your gym to rotate it and then see hook, because the house ball won't ever hook as much. So that's it.
The next one is Greek church.
Greek church. So that is a combination of the 4, the 6, the 7, the 9, 10, or the 4, the 6, the 7, the 8, and the 10. So it's just kind of replacing the 9 and the 10. There is the 9 or 10 present. Yeah. So like think of it like this, right? Mm-hmm. So is the 9 pin gone, or is the 8 pin gone? Which one's gone? So
That's
I think
what you said, 9 or 10.
Oh,
that's why I was
8 or 9. Sorry. So I think both are Greek churches. Mm-hmm. I think that I don't know if it's possible for a right-hander to leave this variation because the way their ball is hooking, right?
Is that the 9 or the 8?
This would be the 9 pin. How I'm looking at it, you're probably okay. Let's do this. This is how you're looking at it. This is the 8 pin. This is the 9 pin, right? So the one-hander's ball is coming this way, so it should take out this pin in this situation. ball's coming this way, it will take out this pin. So either's Greek church. I don't know if I've ever seen, a right-hander leave this combination. Personally.
Okay.
Greek church. Don't know why it's called that. Don't know.
I thought it looked like one.
Somebody older than me probably knows. Yeah, I guess it kind of looks like one. I don't know, but like who just sat there and was like, looks like a Greek church.
How does anyone come up with anything? It's just like, oh.
Yeah, like turkey. I don't know where the hell that came from.
Yeah. Ham bone.
I don't know where that came from. That was Rob Stone's creation. Don't know where. The only one that kind of makes sense, 5 is Yahtzee, and then 6 is 6-pack. That kind of makes sense. Double's double.
Yep. Well,
Turkey out from Stephanie West.
Mm-hmm. The other one we were going to talk about during the tour details, but we skipped over it. So, sport compliant patterns.
Sport compliant. So, this has to do with oil patterns. And it's basically what the USB-C says is sport. There's like a challenge, house, recreation, challenge, and sport. Are kind of like the 3 tiers, I think. Sport compliant is anything that's 4-to-1 or less. Now, 4-to-1 is a ratio that is representing the amount of oil that is in the middle part of the lane compared to the outside part of the lane. So, in the example of 4-to-1 there would be 4 times more oil in the middle part of the lane as compared to the outside part of the lane.
So it makes it harder.
Essentially, yes, it's flatter. There's more even dispersion of oil on the lane. Now you say, oh, four times more in the middle than the outside. It sounds like a lot. Well, your normal house pattern is closer to 11-to-1. Significantly easier. So ours are going to be 4-to-1 or less sport compliant patterns. There's ways. We have John Janowitz from Kegel make our patterns. And you can build shape in the patterns, keep them 4-to-1 or less, and then you can build shape depending on where some oil is placed and stuff like that. But essentially 4-to-1 is what they'll be bowling on. You bowl the CB Tour, it will be a challenging pattern. You're not going to bowl for $5,000 on a house shot. But we tell John around what the scoring pace we want to see, and he's able to build a pattern and give us what we're looking for. So entertaining. We like to see entertaining matches. I like to see pins fly. I like to see people amped up.
Perfect.
Cool. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining us, Chase and Jeff, for the show today. Mm-hmm. Kenzi as well. Co-host Kenzi.
You too.
And that's episode 6, right?
Yep.
In the books. Cool. All right. Well, hey, Wednesday nights is the plan. We'll shoot them on Tuesday. Release them on Wednesday is the plan. It's the easiest way for us since we're traveling a lot on Mondays. Weekends. Yep. So Tuesday, and then, if we the CB Tour event, we can recap and whatever. So, all right, guys. It was a good one. It was a good episode. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, see you guys later.
Peace out, Girl Scouts.
Not everybody's Girl Scout.
Boy Scout.
Not everybody's Boy Scout.
No, I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
Got him. All right. See you guys later.